On April 2nd, 2015, my mom picked my brother Jack up from the Boulder County Jail where he was incarcerated for 48 hours. This was due to his heroin addiction that led to short-term drug-induced psychological behaviors that resulted in poor decision-making and criminal activity. Drug addiction is a disease and it's affecting millions of people, including my brother, and these people need help. Drug addiction is a mental illness that's causing impulsivity, impaired judgment, and loss of self-control. And as a result, these individuals are committing criminal activity and landing themselves in trouble with the law. But what they're actually doing is committing petty crimes, such as petty theft, possession of illegal substances, or urinating in public. And contrary to popular belief, these people aren't actually criminals. They're just addicts who are acting out because they're suffering from a mental illness as a result. And so we need to not punish these individuals, but rather rehabilitate them. That's why today I'm here to discuss with you the need to help those rather than punish them, how this need can be met, and the negative effects this can have on our society if we don't help those suffering from addiction. Millions of people, according to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration National Survey on Drug Use and Health in 2009, states that 23.5 million people aged 12 or older need a treatment for an illicit drug or alcohol abuse, but only 2.6 million percent of these people, that's 2.6 million people, that's 11.2%, actually received the treatment that they needed. 65% of our U.S. inmates currently meet the needs for medical criteria for substance abuse addiction, according to the National Center for Addiction and Substance Abuse. And that's why we can see that there's an issue. These addicts are being punished for their addiction instead of getting the help that they need. Currently, our prison system only offers a detox period for these addicted individuals. They are experiencing detoxification during their first few weeks of imprisonment, and then some prison systems have actually implemented self-help groups, long-term self-help groups such as AA and therapeutic treatments, but neither of these has actually proven to be enough to prevent long-term relapse prevention once they're released from prison. And this is according to Daniel 2007's Care of the Mentally Ill in Prisons, Challenges and Solutions. And additionally, there was a study that was conducted, and it was published in the New England Journal of Medicine's article from 2007 that discussed the leading causes of death for former inmates. And it showed that 1/3 of all prison deaths actually are a result of drug overdose, because these individuals have forgotten that they no longer have the same tolerance to the drugs that they were using prior to imprisonment. And so what incarceration is doing, as I've outlined, is it's not providing medical treatment, it's not preventing future abuse of substances, and it's not helping reduce our overall overdose rates post-release. And this was seen, as I just discussed how this was seen, but also our prison system is exacerbating the causes of mental health rather than curing them. A U.S. Department of Justice's special report on the mental health problems of prison and jail inmates in 2006 actually showed that 45% of our federal prisoners were diagnosed with mental health problems once they were admitted, which indicates that these individuals' mental illness is not getting healed behind bars. It's not curing itself, and we can't expect it to. And if action isn't taken to address this problem, our overdose deaths are going to continue to rise, our drug epidemic is going to remain a problem, and our loved ones are going to continue to be punished for their illness. And so what I propose for you today is this. We provide treatment as an alternative to serving time. Because as many of you know, billions of dollars are being spent to maintain our prison system because it's grown to become the largest in the world. but we can save money if we reduce the number of those incarcerated and provide them with the treatment that they need. And according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse Treatment Approaches for Drug Addiction in 2016, it says that treatment will provide 3 things for addicts. It will change their attitude and beliefs and behaviors towards abuse, which is expected. It will give them the tools to avoid relapse, and it'll allow them to successfully remove themselves from a life of crime as well as substance abuse. Additionally, it's going to affect our society, so it's going to reduce our crime rates, which was seen in the Justice Policies article on substance abuse treatment and public safety in 2008, which showed that between 1995 and 2005, admissions to drug treatments increased by 37.4%, and our violent crime rates fell by 31%, which shows that there's a direct correlation between these 2 factors, and our society is reaping the benefits. Additionally, this is a much more cost-effective than other punitive measures, because treatment is less expensive than imprisoning someone, because it reduces the rates of recidivism. In the California's Drug and Alcohol Treatment Assessment, it showed that for every $1 we invest in drug treatment, there's a return of $7 in cost savings from the social benefits that we are receiving. Now, I know there's some of you that might still be sitting out there thinking to yourself, no, we need to let the punishment fit the crime. And you're right. These individuals are breaking the law by using illegal drugs, but what we forget is that these individuals are sick, and these individuals have lost all control of their lives and their actions, and so they're no longer productive members of our society. And as a society as a whole, we work best with as many productive members as possible, which one can make sense of. And what we can do to increase this number of productive members in our society is to provide those with the treatment that they need. Treatment is going to give individuals the tools to get back on their feet, but if action isn't taken, these individuals and our loved ones will continue to suffer. And this is how I want you to think of it. I want to ask you this question. It's a little bit personal, but just go with it. How many of you have ever tried an illegal drug or know someone that has and is showing signs of reoccurring use? Thank you. This is very common, especially amongst college students, because we are often pressured to experimentally try drugs. And as a result, this can lead to a very quick downward spiral, because the use of every individual responds differently to the use of drugs, because what can happen is they'll get hooked on the physical and psychological effects of the drug, resulting in altered brain chemistry, and what can then happen is it'll lead to an addiction. And once you develop an addiction to these substances, your body becomes possessed by demons, and the only way to fix this problem is to get you the help that you need. And that's why these individuals can't be living on the streets, and they can't be placed in jails, because they're not getting the help that they need in either of these situations. So I've discussed with you the effects of imprisonment, the benefits of offering treatment programs instead of serving time, and the effects of illegal drug use can have on me and you. But now I want to discuss with you what we can do to help these individuals. First things first, we can think of the consequences before we try illegal drugs. We can educate ourselves to break down the stigma, the image of madness, one of the last obstacles to better mental health care, the stigma of mental illness, 1999, and we can help those in need get the help that they need by offering them love and compassion and support. But what I'd really like to leave with all of you today is this. Addicts are real people, and we fail to remember that. But what we do need to remember is that there is hope for each and every individual that is suffering. On May 28th, my brother Jack received his 2-year chip for sobriety, and I couldn't be more inspired by his recovery and blessed to still have him in my life today.